Welcome to Climate Quickies, bite-sized nuggets of climate goodness from our TEDxLondon experts in under 5 minutes.
So we're joined today by Esteban Gast. He's a Colombian-American comedian and writer. He's a comedian in residence. Did you even know that was a thing?
No, but now I want to be one.
A comedian, right? This is our goal for the next year, to become comedians in residence. But Esteban is a comedian in residence at Generation 180, where he helped create the Climate Comedy Cohort. Listen, he's gonna tell us more about it.
Number one is comedy has always taken on really big issues, right? If you look at like the best stand-ups of all time, it's like they're tackling racism and like sexism and like all the isms, and they're talking about the stand-up specials that came out this year talk about, it's like I Love Nathaniel from Gerard Carmichael. He comes out as gay. Mark Maron talks about the death of his longtime partner, like the sudden death, and it's brilliant and funny and sad. So for sometimes people go, how can you make humor out of this? And then I'm like, look at any stand-ups, that's what we all do. That's the thing we're doing. And actually, humor is maybe one of the most healthy ways to process this, right? Or to me, it's like, not only how do we make humor, it's like, it is essential to make humor. That's how we process pain, like time and comedy's tragedy plus time. Like, it's like we're experiencing this sort of collective tragedy that the earth is shifting in these ways, and like we need people to help us process that. So I think that's one like big picture, but more specifics, which I think sometimes I answer that and people, or I think about that and people are like, okay, yeah, and they're like, wait, what does that mean? Answer the question there. Yeah,
like good theory. What's the application?
They're like nodding along and be like, and then they're like, okay, so you literally you just gave, do that. Yeah, you just gave like a beautiful answer. You're like, comedy is poetry and science is prose, but and you're like, okay, that sounds good, and that So here's the specifics. And actually, this question is a perfect question, incredible question, because 2 years ago, with the folks at Generation 180, they're this national nonprofit. They're doing really interesting stuff in climate communications and flipping the script and like mobilizing and building communities around things like electrification and building schools on solars. So with them and the folks at American University's Center for Media and Social Impact, so this amazing center that like studies how entertainment and media can make a difference. So with both of them, we co-created this thing called the Climate Comedy Cohort. So the Climate Comedy Cohort works with comedians and we connect them to climate experts. It's like climate education. And then we are in writers' rooms writing jokes and creating jokes and content and videos from that. So we actually build and we're like learning these best practices. And we work with folks like in behavioral science. We work with folks, and it's at a high level. Last year we worked with Comedy Central, like a national network here. Wow. This year we're working with Yellow Dot. That's Adam McKay. He did Don't Look Up. And you guys know.
You're like Climate SNL.
But importantly, and this is a big thing that we've learned, is we empower the comedians in their own way to their own audiences, organically, authentically, often not saying this is a climate joke, just saying this is a joke, right? So we're thoughtful in those ways, right? Because I mean, first off, I love the pitch Climate SNL, but if you had Climate SNL, no one who wouldn't be in it would watch. So you have to.
Good point.
Not to shut down. No. I know it was a fun riff, but I can't tell you how wrong you are.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up here. It's over.
Is there an apology you can make? No, I love it, and that would be a dream. But I think the research has shown, climate doesn't need to be the principal conflict, right? It can be the context that we're in, and people are doing that in storytelling, right? There's climate mentions, climate moments, climate premises, and I think that also comes up in comedy. So it's like if I'm telling a joke. Someone could just be doing something that like normalizes a climate behavior in it. Great. I could tell a joke, or there could be a whole premise around it, right? And premises that we know are really helpful in what Gen 180 and the work that Center for Media and Social Impact, like Dr. Katie Borum, who leads that, literally studies comedy and social impact. So she wrote a book called The Revolution Will Be Hilarious, studying all these things, right? So we know that like doom and gloom doesn't help. We know that shaming people doesn't help. Right. We know that humanizing it. So I've got jokes where I go, oh my gosh, I feel like this hypocrite, or I want to do something, but it's tough to. And I arrive to these places organically. I invite people in, right? So I'm not talking down to them. So I think there's some of those things, some of those tips that help along with the theory, along with the structure and community that we've built. I think we need to allow creatives the grace to like be authentic in themselves and trust that the climate mentions, the climate moments are actually shifting culture. And we don't have to be, my philosophy of change, and perhaps the Climate Comedy Cohort philosophy of change is like, we don't have to be in your face about it. We're like this bridge being like, hey, you're invited, and like, come find more resources. Yeah, I think we're trying to crack what that looks like. It's a really fun place to be.
Thanks for listening to this quickie.
This episode was created by our superstar podcast team at TEDxLondon. Until next time,
stay curious.